Hey residents of Meepletown, today we are in Capital City and organized crime
Bad Meeples
taken over.
What's going to happen?
It's not working.
When they come after you.
In case you have no idea what John's doing, he's taking
I'm trying
Bad
to
Boys.
sing that song, but I don't want to get copyright infringement, which has happened to us. So on the spot, I'm just saying, sometimes you bad Meeples. If I want to...
So we are the feds, and we are going to help out. We're going to send out our teams to take out criminals, to confiscate bad goods, and and then see who can win the game.
Smugglers.
Let's get to the table and check out the feds. Alrighty there, John.
You're
Here's
right.
the setup.
That intro was something.
It was something.
But people, just as you mentioned,
you can just skip it. Just skip the intros every time. I highly recommend it. Anywho, this is the setup for the feds. And I'm going to go ahead and say this might get kind of confusing, so I'm going to lay out some terminology that might help. You think? Real fast, all right?
I don't know what you're going to say.
I'm going to lay out some terms.
You could make it even
for
worse.
All right. First off, we have the surveillance area. And if this is your person face down right here, that's going to be your surveillance agent, okay? If it's flipped up over here, this is a field agent. If it's upside down, it's an undercover agent.
Makes sense.
And I think that's mostly
easy.
it.
There you go.
And I just think it's going to help a little bit when we start teaching the rules and kind of talking through our turns.
It's good with me.
All right. So what's going to happen?
He likes to make sure that he calls everything correct, and that's what I was saying is he going to make it more confusing by trying to make sure that everyone knows the right terminology?
Maybe that did. Basically, in this game, you want to be the one with the most points at the end of the game. You're going to get points for sets of these criminals. You're going to get points for sets of these crates. There's more criminals. There's like 5 different types, and so if you get a full set, it's 15, and then progressive, degressive, not what's the word I'm looking for? Not progressive, but
no,
regressively less.
I digress.
Is that right? Sets of 3 different cubes will give you 5 points, and
leftover cubes give you 1.
There we go. Leftover cubes give you 1, and your high speed gives you 1 as well. On your turn, first thing you're going to do, you want me to go first?
Yeah, here, let me just flip it.
There we go. Flip that card over, and that's going to show a location. That's the warehouse, and that's going to get 1 criminal, a smooth criminal at that, in the warehouse. You like that?
I don't want to... Was that good? Do they understand what I was saying without me getting copyright infringement on that?
I don't think you're going to get copyrighted. I think you would have been just fine.
I got copyrighted on Ghostbusters. Remember?
Oh, that's right. You weren't singing it, though. I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I didn't mention this. In a 2-player game, things are a little bit different. You've got 3 locations. In a 4-player game, you're going to have 4 locations. You're also only going to have 2 crates in a 2-player game, and that's how you seed the board. And what's going to happen, I already mentioned, we flip that over, put that there, and then I'm going to take one of my cards and I'm going to put it face down on the surveillance area.
While he's doing that, I'm just going to show you what we start with. So we start with 2 of each number. I guess I could have just told you, but I kind of wanted to show you the art too.
There we go. I'm going to take this card face down. John doesn't know what this number is, but I'm basically trying to gain area majority in the warehouse with my feds so that I can take over that spot. And that's all I'm going to do on my turn. Things will happen a little bit differently as the game moves on.
That's not all you're going to do on your turn.
Well, I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to do with placing my card with that piece of it. Then you're going to move the police car based on what your speed is. We each start off with a speed of 2, so I can move it 1 or 2 spaces. I'm going to go here, and this says that I can move up on my infiltrate track and 1 on my transfer track. We'll explain what all of those do, but basically know that on this board you have your training spots, which will move you up on your track, and then you have these sting operation spots so that you can confiscate some of these goods. There we go. What am I trying to say?
Crates.
Stolen goods. Stolen crates.
You said crate earlier.
They are crates. They're stolen goods. These are.
I think they're pretty crate, don't you?
It's pretty crate. All right, and that's my whole turn.
Did you just use the same pun that I did right back at me?
Did you just use the same pun that I used right back at me?
Oh, okay. So you're not going to infiltrate, okay? Word. All right. I am going to...
Are you grateful that I didn't infiltrate?
Oh, my gosh. That would have been better.
Would it have? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so then it is over to John. John's taking his turn, flipping that over.
Whoops, wrong one.
I'm misusing some terms here, John.
Oh, my gosh.
There we
Okay.
go.
While he's doing that, so I'm not gonna go to the warehouse because it would kick his out over here.
Illegal contraband. That's the word I was looking for.
I got you.
They're crates,
That's
but they're
a lot cooler.
Contraband.
I would kick him out here, and then he could next turn go ahead and go to the warehouse and grab a crate. If he wants to, I wouldn't be able to because my card would still be over here on this side. So I just don't want to give him that opportunity at the moment. Yep. Okay, so I think I'm going to go to the restaurante and do that right there. How about that, Dean?
Okay.
Then I'm not going to go to the warehouse, so don't have much other choice. My speed and the switcheroo.
There we go.
I may pull a switcheroo.
I thought you might do that. All right, on my turn, you're done, right?
Dunzo.
My turn again. We're going to flip this card over, and at
look
the
at that.
restaurant. Ooh, that
Perfect.
changes things a little bit, doesn't it?
Perfect.
Interesting. That does change things a little bit. All right, so that puts out a few things at the restaurant. I'm going to want to make sure that I get some presents there. Is my problem.
Like Santa Claus?
Really nothing like Santa Claus.
You said you want to get
Flip
your
that
presents
card
there.
over. I'm going to take one of my cards.
Here?
I'm going to put it face down and push you out of the restaurant.
So
That's
flip
right.
it over.
So
that?
now that guy is a field agent. And I will then... Do I want to... I can infiltrate... I think I'm going to. So I'm going to infiltrate something here. I'm going to infiltrate the warehouse.
Yeah, I thought you might do that.
And
But it's
now,
not that big of a
I
deal.
can go to the warehouse and perform a sting operation. And I think I'll do that just to show you how things are going to work. Ow, don't appreciate that.
Did it sting a little?
There we go. Yeah, I'll do this just to show you. I wouldn't necessarily do that. I probably would go to one of these locations to help me out a little bit more. But so when you go to a location, you're going to get cubes, up to 3 cubes, based on your presence that you have here. So first thing is, do I have a field agent? I do not. John,
You do not.
have a field agent, which
that
again
is
is a
flipped
face
over
up.
card,
There we
yep.
go. Do I have an undercover agent?
Yes, you do.
I do. So I will take a cube. There we go. And a crate. I will take a crate. And
Contraband.
the final thing is, do I have the highest presence here,
Value.
and also the highest value presence, along with
Opponent.
another? There we go, an opponent's
So if
card.
we were against
my
each
goodness,
other.
I'm struggling with my words. So if this were the case, if John were to have done the sting operation, he would get a cube for having the most presence.
You don't.
And I do not. So I only get 1 cube, and that is going to be it. Now, again, I don't think I would have done that normally. 'Cause
Oh, yeah,
just
sure.
to get 1
Just tell
cube
him
is
that.
is not that great.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I am going to flip the card over. Let's see what happens real quick. Well, that definitely answers what I was going to do, because I was going to do that anyways.
Go down to the docks.
Yeah, because, well, that fell out, so I'm just going to use that. Oh my gosh, look at that.
All right.
So, yeah, because the docks are coming up, I'm going to see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and play a card.
While he's talking, this is maxed out now. In a 2-player game, you can only have 5 cubes, 5 different crates at the different locations.
See, I thought that we did something wrong, and you were about to look at me like, oh,
No.
we have to fix something. I'm like,
Nope.
we didn't do anything wrong. I was going to go to blows with you.
All right.
How about that? I'm going to play that. I'm going to come here to this so that I can infiltrate. Let me see here. Infiltrate and switch. So now I have the ability to switch 2 agent cards if I want to. So I could switch these around if I so desired. I don't so desire. I don't switch these around. I think I'm going to save it, and I think I'm not. See, he has a speed of 2. That's right. So, okay, yep. Nope, not doing anything right now.
So that's it? That's all you're going to do?
That's it, yep.
I
Because he
didn't-
can't pass the docks.
That's right. I did not mention this, but whenever I do this, whenever I took the infiltrate action to flip that card out there, you move it all the way back to the beginning. So, like, for example, if I take the transfer action, it's
Were you
going to move all the way
cheating?
back to the beginning. No, I didn't cheat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, flip a card, please,
Yes, sir.
Be something that I need. Oh, I was hoping for something at the warehouse. Could you reflip that? Maybe give me something at the warehouse? And we're only going to draw 1 cube because it is maxed out at 5.
You're right. I thought we had 3 there.
Again, that's only a 2-player rule. Oh,
Man, white cubes are coming out like
that's not
no
great,
tomorrow.
is it? That's not
That's
great.
kind of a nice little shape that we have going on.
All right, I think I'm going to...
Hey, look, I kind of made a smiley face.
Let's do this.
With
I'm
the
going
hat on top, he
to put
looks
this
like a
card
clown.
here, flip this one out.
Okay.
Did I do that right? Uh-oh. I thought this was something else. I could have looked at that card.
You forgot.
I forgot what it was. I thought that card is. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
It is what it is at this point. So I will then... I could have gone to the docks, I guess, but just to prevent John from getting anything. Right now he doesn't have anything, but he's probably going to get something. So I'm just going to take one movement on my transfer and one on the switch. So now I can take the transfer ability because I'm maxed out there, but I will not.
Okay. So I will... What did I put down? Okay. I will go ahead and place a card here, which will bump myself out. I got a 4. How about that? In your face.
Oh, that's harsh.
What is that? Then I'm going to come over here. Oh my God.
Meat wagons kept.
How about that?
You doing Tommy Boy? Is that what you're
that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
That wasn't so bad.
Here comes the meat wagon. Woo, woo.
Okay.
New guys in the corner puking his guts out.
That is a great scene.
It really is.
Okay.
All because you wanted to say, I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to get, number 1, I have a field agent. Number 2, I don't have an undercover. And number 3, Dean has no presence there, so I'm only going to get 1 cube.
You do have your infiltrate.
I do, and I'm seriously thought about using it, and I might. The only reason, I just got to pause for a minute and think about what cubes are out here. There's plenty of white cubes, but there's only, I think I will infiltrate because there's only 1 brown cube, and Dean's going to try to take it first up here.
Yeah.
It was going to be my thing, so I will go ahead and use it.
Yeah, I'll mention after you get done taking your turn.
So I'm going to take the brown and the black cubes. Right, there we go.
Yep. Okay. When we mentioned earlier all the different actions, we mentioned the switch and the transfer and all that. Now, if John really wanted 3 cubes and he was able to, he can transfer any agent. He could have transferred my agent down here if he wanted to, which would have given him 3 cubes. He didn't have the action to do that. But one thing to think about is...
I had to switch 2 cards, and that would have negated the whole...
Right, because he only has a switch and not the transfer. So transfer, what that does is it moves one to another location, but it has to be one on the far right side. Transfer switches to, but again, it has to be the ones on the far side. You can't switch
just pick whatever you want. Yeah.
So there's a lot of planning in this and thinking through what that looks like.
Man, that is getting like juicy up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that, I think.
Yeah, I know. That was the negative. Like I considered putting another card up there to kind of, but I can do the switcheroo if I need to.
My speed is on. Oh, you know what I'm gonna have to do here. I'm gonna end that one right now. Is what I'm about to do. It's what I'm fitting to do, John.
You're gonna go ahead and end it. We're about to bust right now.
I don't remember.
Colin's Fuzz.
What do I have? Oh, I already.
I just wanted to say, isn't that a cool name, the Fuzz?
That's pretty good.
I wonder where that comes from. YouTube's? Can you tell me?
All right, I'm pushing this one out with this. All right, this one's gonna flip over. So now I have 3, 6. Oh, wait a minute.
Ayo.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll keep what I have because I don't want to lose any cards. Okay. So now this one has 3 at the location. I didn't mention this, but when does the location bust, and when do you figure out who's going to have the majority?
I was going to say that. In a 2-player game, we got 4.
So once we get
the first round.
That's right. Once we get 4 in that location, at the end of the round, that's when a bust is going to happen. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to move right here to infiltrate. And then I'm immediately going to get 1 up on my speed. I'm immediately going to use that infiltrate, which is going to put this one over here.
There we go.
And now this will bust. Now, let me go ahead and say one thing that I did is I put that level 1 card in there. This is going to flip over whenever you do the bust sequence. What I should have done in a 2-player game is if you have more than 5 presents than them, like the number value presents, then you actually get to take 2 crates. As it is, whoever has the most is going to only take 1, and then you go back and forth taking whatever's out there. It is what it is. I guess if I would have thought about it, that would have been a better move. But as it is, I'm just going to take the first crate, and that's going to go here. Okay. Again, this is because I won this one. Now I'm going to also take any of these out here. I can take a criminal or a crate. So I'm going to take
You've been struck by
criminal. And then John goes if he has presence, and he does. So we're just going to go back and forth and keep taking one of those.
Took the lead there was criminal. You know that?
Did you like that?
Mm-hmm.
See, in this game, things can change
Just like that.
In an instant.
Okay, so I'm not going to take the white one because there's another one down there, and I'm winning that, so there's a decent chance I could pick that up later. And we're trying to get different colors to get the sets.
That's right. So I'm going to take this other criminal, giving me 2 different colors, which is... I'll explain what those points are. So it's basically 1, 3, 6, 10, and 15. So if you have a whole set of 5, you're going to get 15 points for those.
Is it your go
Jordan,
again?
take yours?
No, that's what I was going to say. I'm taking that one.
What just happened?
What do you mean what just happened? You took this one, I took this one, you took this one.
Okay, so you took another one. Oh, I appreciate that. I do have a full set, though. So do you.
I know, but you would have been able to easily do that, so...
And then I'll take the last one, and I'm winning. How about that?
That's okay. No problem.
Now what we do
problemo.
is we are going to take our lowest number, and we're going to...
So it kicks me out.
Kick him out of the game. So these are going to go there face up, just so that you know what's available. These are going to slide over, and then this cube's going to move down, showing that we're kind of in that second round, and now it's going to take 5 cards to bust a location. And then immediately what we're going to do is we're going to draw a criminal. So draw 1 criminal and 2 crates. Again, in a 2-player game, it's only 2. Normal game, it's 3 that you draw out.
There you go.
And then I believe
Do you feel like we accomplished something?
I do.
Like we busted some heads together.
Took out some criminals.
Knocked some skulls together.
Took some of this.
Got some contraband. Yep.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
All right, and then again, you're going to play through those 3 rounds. Let me explain really quick how that last round works, though. So after you've done that 3rd bust, what you're going to do is if you have cards left over in your hand, you're going to take them face down and put them back and forth in the 2 locations that are left over after the last one that busted. So for example, if this one busted in the 3rd round, then nothing else is going to happen there. All of the cards that were here in the, whatever you call those spots. I forget.
where the agents
they're going to come over here. That's
are
right.
undercover if you move them.
Surveillance. Surveillance areas. They're going to
right.
come over face down. Then we're going to go back and forth, placing cards face down, and then do one final bust. And these you're only going to get, the winner gets a cube, and then after that you take 1 item instead of clearing out that location. If that makes sense. Then you're going to add up your points, and whoever wins is me.
Probably actually, probably true. All right. Art and components.
Let's talk about the art and component.
All right, A and C's.
Art and components. Let's talk about this.
Think about that for a
like
second?
we always talk about in our Kickstarter preview videos. Not everything's going to be final. Words are hard.
I'll help you. Out.
Not everything is necessarily final, although most of the time Steve Finn games are
really close.
Really close, yeah. And we'll see that in this situation. So what do you think, John?
Oh, I think the art's really good, don't you?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's got this comic book feel. It makes a lot of sense. You want the box?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a whole lot of sense for a game called The Feds, where you're, busting the bad guys, picking up contraband. I think it's really cool. Yeah. The components.
You mentioned the comic book feeling, like that's the back of it, which I think is really cool looking.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
And the front of it looks just like the front of the box, but it looks like a comic book, kind of. That's what the feel it has through the whole thing. I like how the criminals look like criminals. That's nice. The contraband, I mean, they're just cubes, but hey, they're big, actually, and they're nice and chunky, and that's could be what they are. They're in crates. So
I was going to say, with Steve Finn Games, we've mentioned this in all the videos, I think, but he pluses things whenever he's doing it. You know, not just put cubes, but let's put this police car meeple in there. That's nice. The cubes are chunky, especially the ones that are
they're huge
on your board. Yeah, so I don't have anything to complain about. Again, I mentioned there is another board, and this game plays up to 4 players, so you've got 4 decks of these, which... Here's the thing: they're all different art on these cards, and then my cards are different than John's, which that's just a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah, a really nice touch.
Costs more money, but I think it's
the boards are nice because they are
inset. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We finish each other's
sandwiches. Ready?
I just want to do a Disney reference for you.
All right. Let's talk about the gameplay. I already made a Disney reference that you wouldn't have gathered, but
really,
right. Yeah.
Okay.
I said plussing it. That's a Disney term, like plussing it.
What is that? Like Disney Plus?
No, like plus. Like I'm gonna take this idea and then I'm gonna make it better. I'm gonna plus it.
Is that why they call it Disney Plus?
Maybe. I don't know.
I've never heard that in my life.
That makes sense.
That is a piece of knowledge.
Obviously, you don't listen to Walt Disney biographies, not autobiographies.
No.
All right. The gameplay. Now, this is a unique game
Yes.
I don't know how else to say this. I've just never played anything like this before.
We were talking about that. I was trying to like figure out like what games. I know I'm sure there's some that exist, but it definitely has a different feel than a lot of other games that we've played. I can't quite put my finger on, hey, this is like this. So that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's weird because like at first glance when you're looking at this game, when you're reading the rule book and when you're watching the gameplay, you think, okay, you're just playing cards out there and gaining the majority. But when you gain your abilities, it really can change things in an instant, right? There was only 2 cards here. Then immediately I take a card, I put it out, push my other card out, and then I infiltrate to put this one out there, and bam, now we have a bust. And things like that can change very quickly. Just when you think like I'm doing pretty well, things can really change up.
Move things around, absolutely. And Steve has done a lot of this like lately, like in Nanga Parbat and stuff, where you get these like special abilities and you can use them tactically. And I think that's for me the most fun decisions in this game. A lot of times is when. You know what I mean? When to go to the restaurant, which though, when to play a card to where, okay, if I do that, then is Dean going to go here? Okay, when to play my big number 5? When to do, when to, just take one crate. Is it really worth it to do it at that point in time, or should I just wait and hold off and prep for the restaurant? Maybe I could perform better in the restaurant.
Yeah.
When to take, the car around to up your speed. At the end of the game, you gain an extra point. Okay, I need to do that. Plus, it would be nice to be able to move around the board and have some more flexibility. You have the infiltrate ability. When is the most advantageous time to take it? Mm-hmm. Those are my favorite decisions in this game. Like, is that tactical? Like, when do I do this? Let's do this at the most optimum time. And then also, I like the idea of trying to kind of guess and deduce like what's it your opponent has. Like I know that Dean, that he's got his 1 there. Okay, so he's down. He has no more 3s left in the game. That's not really much deduction, but just kind of thinking through. So I wonder what this is. Okay.
Yeah, but also like saving those cards to the end, because that last round can be very important in those special busts. And so you think, well, let me just use all my high cards, and that's not necessarily the case. You might want to use some of your lower cards. The other thing is, because you have to discard a card, I don't want to put.
I was going to bring that.
Yeah, I don't want to put all of my high cards here, and then I'm going to have to discard one and lose that presence there. You're going
to. So when you play, it's important.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And if you do, you might want to follow it up with another, like a 1 or something or whatever, so that when you do the bust, you lose your lower value.
Yeah. In a lot of games that have engine building in them too, I typically like to build a really good engine to start off, but then as the game goes on, kind of just ride that engine out. In this game, you look at these training locations and you think, okay, let me just take all of those at the very beginning of the game, which I'm not saying that's a terrible strategy, but what happens is you're missing out on doing those stings at those different locations. And you might not think that's going to be a big deal, but this game can end like really quick. It's 30 to 45 minutes, and I could see you thinking that the game's going to last long, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 all those busts get triggered.
You have all those cards out there.
And now you wish that you would have picked up those cubes from the sting operations. And so I think that's a really interesting decision, too. It's not just what you might think of building an engine and then playing it out.
Yeah.
You need to stop and do these sting actions, which I think that's unique as well.
Yeah, for sure. So for negatives, I'll just share something I think Dean and I didn't love. Let me just speak for myself. Number 1, this is not super my style. I don't know. I can't put it. I love Steve Finn games, and Steve always designs well-designed games. I've never played a game where I went, that's a bad design of his, which I mean, that's why we do all of his games, because we really like him. This one just has a really different feel, and one thing that I didn't love, and maybe I'm just dumb, is that I kept getting confused a lot about like what's a sting, what's a bust, what happens, what's the undercover agent, what's this, because there's a lot of similar things that happen but not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know. I mean, I've played this multiple times and I still have to like think back through, okay, what is that? What happens whenever that happens? And so again, that might just be a my brain thing. I didn't read the rules. Dean taught me the rules.
Maybe it was a Dean teaching thing.
No, I don't think that's the case. It's just like when you don't read through it and someone else teaches you, sometimes it just doesn't, I guess because you're not reading it, you're not getting that extra mode of learning. You know what I mean? And so like I kept struggling with that, and it was kind of frustrating for me. So I do know that what I should have done is had this. Now I don't know also what Steve plans to do in the final copy, but this does kind of list out. So I just kind of want to show that to you all. What happens whenever you're doing like the bust, and whenever you're, what are you looking for whenever you do the sting and all that kind of stuff.
And that's a player aid, not the rule book itself.
Yeah, I would love to see, and he may have this, I would love to see like a card that has like sting on one side, bust on one side, and I can just kind of keep it down here.
Sure.
And I can just all the players can easily have that and know exactly what those. I think something like that would be helpful, and he may be doing that. Probably should have messaged him before we did this video and asked. But if he lets us know, we'll put it in the description so that you all know about something like that.
Yeah, one thing to think about, the reason why I laid out those terms at the beginning, most of the time, you don't really need to do that. I always like to add it for flavor.
Yeah.
You're like, let's just
But it
call
is important in this game, you're right.
Purple or green or whatever it is, let's not worry about labels. But this one, you really do need to have a grasp on what those are. Like, you need to know this is an undercover agent. You need to know that this is a field agent and surveillance area, all of those things, because when those stings happen, it helps to be able to, you have to. You have to know what it means when it says if you have an undercover agent in this location. So that's an interesting thing you don't see in a lot of games, where you need to know that terminology, I think, right? Also, let me just say, I don't think this is necessarily a mean game. But it is a little bit.
If people got their feelings hurt easily?
Yeah, so like the switch where I can switch yours with mine, when you may have already been planning out to do something really cool here, and then all of a sudden I just switch it. It's not necessarily that it's...
I love that part of it.
I do too, but I'm saying if you don't like mean games, but also something that turns on a dime. This is a unique game in that things can really turn on a dime based on...
Especially if you have like multiple powers.
Yeah, if I have all these things...
I switch these over, I move a guy in there, I'm going to infiltrate. You could do... But that's what I... Sorry to... Well, that's what I like about it so much, is that it has that feel where like, man, if you save up, you can really shift all of a sudden and like, oh shoot.
Yep.
So I actually really like that about it.
And you have to pay attention to what the other people are doing, because like if I start my turn off and I'm maxed out on all three of these, I'm going to move them probably, because I want to be able to take advantage of it and not lose them. So I might infiltrate right off the bat, right, before I start my turn. But then if later I move the police car, I get to infiltrate again. Potentially. So you can... again, have two cards here, and then all of a sudden, whoa, this thing's maxed out, and that happened really fast. That could be a bad thing for some people. I think it's really cool and unique, especially if it's a fast game, which it is a fast game. That's just really unique, but it can be frustrating too.
That's what I liked in Non-Gaparbit, when you have all those abilities and stuff like that he designed, and like you can go boom, 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 and like, oh wow, the game really shifted. That's a huge positive for me, but I do understand if you're get your feelings hurt easily in games and stuff like that, someone could be like, I hate how that happens, but... Yeah,
so the people who might like this game, ones who might like Area Majority, ones who don't mind the craziness of things changing on a dime, somebody who doesn't... I guess I'm going to say somebody who doesn't mind a lot of meanness.
This is our final thoughts.
It doesn't.
Here, let's just.
We don't get final scores in our final thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't say it, but this is my final thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody who would enjoy it, area control, the things that changed on a dime, and then somebody who doesn't care with a little meanness. Although it doesn't feel super mean, it's just very high player interaction.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
A little deduction, a little guessing what your opponents put out there, especially on these, because you're not exactly sure. Oh man, he's got a card here, and I want to put a card there, but I don't know what I'm going to push out. And like those kind of things they're fun, they're interesting. So yeah, my final thoughts are I agree with Dean and everything that he said. There's really pieces of this game I really enjoy. As a whole, it just for some reason it's not super my style. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like over the moon about it. If you want to play it, sure, I'll play it. But this is not one of my favorites of his, but I think that it's so unique that like some people are going to, like if you're watching the gameplay and go, that looks good, some people may be like, maybe they don't even like some of Dr. Finn's games, might really like this because it is so different.
Yeah.
You can see mechanics from his other games, like pieces of that in this, but it is such a unique game, and it's probably, I'm trying to think through, probably one of his more thematic games that he's designed.
That might be right, yeah.
Because you do kind of feel like, hey, a sting's happening, I'm moving the police car around. I'm not saying it's overly, but I would say probably one of his more thematic. So I can see a set of people who maybe haven't played a lot of his games being like, whoa, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are my thoughts about it.
Yeah, really.
Always enjoyable. Steve always makes good games.
Definitely. If this seems like something you might enjoy, definitely check out the Kickstarter along with the other games that are releasing. We're releasing videos for all of these games for this Kickstarter. John, tell people how they can get in touch with us.
Yeah, if you are enjoying our channel, we'd love for you to subscribe. Click that subscribe button to do that. You can support us by going to patreon.com/Meepletown. We're at Meepletown Games on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our Patreon supporters for making content like this possible. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/Meepletown. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, find us at Meepletown Games. Finally, to connect with us and other residents of Meepletown, you can join Guild 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com. Until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.